All right, welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Perspective Podcast. I go by the name of Damiso Josey alongside
Spencer's here.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. It's a nice day out today.
A little bit. It finally got to 55, I think. It was a little cold this morning. Had soccer this morning with my daughter.
Did you guys win?
We won. They came back 4-3. I was a little worried because my team, we had one practice, and I was a little worried. But then I found the combination of players, and we came back. I think we were down 3-0, and we came back and won. Yeah.
What kind of look do you give a team when you're down 3-0?
And they little girls. I can't yell at them and scream and holler and all that stuff.
Can't yell?
Nah. Then I got the parents on the other side. I can't be doing that.
So, can you take the clipboard and just throw the clipboard in the roster and just tear it up? What can you do?
Now, that's too official. We talking about rec league, soccer.
Loss is a loss, though.
And we didn't take an L, though. We came back and made it happen.
But you were losing.
We were. Last year we had the dream team. We went undefeated.
Okay.
I wasn't coaching. And then the coach was like, you need to coach this year. And I was like, you put too much pressure on me.
Okay.
I said, if I lose this first game, I'm quitting. But we came back.
Dismount on the team, start trading people?
Yes. And he was like, don't worry, I'm going to hook you up with all the players. You had the same players. I get the team, and it's like two girls from last year's team on the team. So I got a whole...
2 returners?
That was it.
That's rough. You only got 2 returners?
Then my daughter had to act like she was nervous and all that other nonsense and didn't want to play in the beginning. She said her throat hurt. Am I a bad parent if I was like, get out there, I don't want to hear it, just keep playing?
No, she wanted the superstar treatment.
She did.
Yeah, she wanted you to give her a massage, tape her ankles, all that good stuff before the game started.
Then she had a nerve to be like, Daddy, I want to play offense. I was like, you need to score then and stop complaining about your throat.
Maybe she's telling you what position you go.
She was trying. She scored though. I give her that.
Okay.
So we pulled it out in the end.
So she knows a little something then about what
she's
she can do.
like her mother. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it right there.
All right, we're going to leave it there because I want you to get in no trouble.
I'm always in trouble, sir.
Yeah, Final Four's coming up, and I know how it is when they say, hey, can we talk? The game about to start. Hey, can we talk? And you're looking at the television, but the game's about to start. No, we just need to talk.
We need to
take
talk.
a second. Commercials on.
So last episode we had Princess Inc. on, correct, sir?
Oh, yes. Listen, I felt like I was in Brooklyn having a conversation with them. It took me to Brooklyn.
They were real. I have to say that, and they got some wonderful things going on and the programs that they have and all that stuff. And I know, what do they have going on?
All right, so March 29th, which is actually my birthday, they have a fundraiser at Ducktown Tavern, $10 tickets. Then they have a Yankee Candle fundraiser that's going to be up until April 5th, and they can be supported by via catalog online. So, and then they have the second annual Let's Jump program as well. These are some busy ladies. They have 2 books. One they co-authored together, and then Indra has a book. So we had Pearls of Wisdom and If She Only Listened. One of the books I actually purchased, I did start reading it, and I've said these 2 wonderful girls in the program they have is outstanding.
So they got that double Dutch stuff going on.
Yes, I didn't know it was a league. I know it was a real thing.
I just remember back in the day on the corner, they was doing the double Dutch and things. So, I mean, that was a thing. We just go around and see all the girls doing that. That's how I sharpened my game up a little bit.
You talking about your game?
My game.
The jump rope game?
Nah, not the jump rope.
You talking about the game?
The game.
Oh, listen. Yeah, I mean, you stand around long enough, you get to hear, you get to hear some stuff. I'll say that. You know how to go in.
Absolutely. Just to plug some things that we got going on. We will be in Orlando next weekend.
Yes.
Actually, by the time this podcast come out, we probably be on the way back from Orlando, talking about how to reach and teach the hip hop generation. We got Miss Darlene DeHaan, who was also on the State of Education podcast before, coming with us. So we got some things going on, and this is going to be, I'm going to say, the next month and a half for the empowerment perspective. There's going to be some big things going on, and we're expanding our reach, hopefully, and reaching some people and doing some work out there. So we're looking forward to that. So make sure you check us out with that. We're still working on the video part. We're so close.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming. We tested it out last night, but I think we're going to hold back a little bit. We got a little bit of kinks to work out. But today, we have in the building.
Yes.
Woo.
The dynamic duo.
They're laughing. They were laughing on the way in. We're going to find out what was so funny.
I just think they're just in a good mood in general.
At the front door.
Absolutely.
It's all right. But we have this podcast we're going to talk about. We're going to get down and dirty and talk about germs today. and, and things of that nature.
Yes.
So we have two lovely nurses, Miss Melanie Charlton. Let's make some noise for her on the podcast today. And Miss Tina, or Christina, or Christine.
No.
Christina?
Not Christine.
Christine Summers.
No, Christine.
Christina. Tina, I call you Tina. That's why. Tina Summers. Let's make some noise.
Yes.
And my dog is making noise again.
Yes, he's making noise.
At the door. He said, I want to talk about germs too. So welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for making the journey all the way down here. So we want to dig in, and you guys are nurses, and you're school nurses, but you also, some of you do nursing outside of school in hospitals and things of that nature. I want to know why you got into nursing in the first place. So Melanie, if you can answer that question first.
Well, I got into nursing because I was raised around a lot of nurses. My mother was very ill when I was younger, and I think I just was introduced to that culture and way of life. Going to the hospital with her and having the nurses and visiting the nurses with her, and just seemed kind of natural for me.
Mm-hmm. Tina, how about you?
I didn't want to be a nurse.
What would you like to have?
She still doesn't.
I wanted to do something in the psychiatric realm. My grandmother was a psychiatric nurse who wanted me to obviously be a nurse, so I, of course, didn't want to be one. So I was going to get my psychology degree and realized that without a doctorate in psychology, you're not doing anything, really. So I went into nursing to do psych nursing. And then I realized that psych nursing was not anything what I thought it was. There's not a whole lot of patient contact. You're really more just giving out medication. And all the techs did everything that I wanted to do. But in the meantime, I found out that I really liked nursing. And it really fit well for me.
And a lot of nursing is psych nursing.
Yes.
Even if you're not in that field.
I was about to say that. What's the difference between what you do technically and psych nursing? You know, I feel like it's the same, almost the same type thing.
The umbrella of nursing is really wide, and it encompasses a lot of different fields. So every field has, something that they really specialize in. But psychiatric nursing, if you're in a facility, which most of the time you are, if you're employed as a psychiatric nurse, you really do have to have just a wide range of knowledge of different psychiatric disorders and more the medications that go along with them, because a lot of what you do is distributing and administering medication based on those symptoms and their symptom on the patients and their symptoms, whereas when you're on the floor in different fields of nursing, you have to use psychological skills to deal with the patients and manage them to figure out what's going on. And so a lot of times you use more psychology outside of psychiatric nursing.
Gotcha. So what's the major difference between being a school nurse versus being a hospital nurse?
What's the difference?
Yeah, I feel like it should be my mind, I see hospital as trauma and it's, really, really serious issues. Where in school, I think you're dealing with a little bit more of a, not necessarily emergencies on a daily basis. You see a little bit more things like, I want to say continuing care, but that's maybe not the words I need to say. So what's the difference? Because I know you worked in both arenas and continue to do so.
I think that I don't think it's that different, to be honest. I mean, you're definitely with a different population that aren't there. You're not there to care for their broken leg or for, their abdominal incision. But, you still get crazy stuff that comes in. And then there's also a lot of the psychological part that we were just talking about for that population. I don't know if it's, for me, the difference is the hours, really. Right. But beyond that, I don't know if I could really say that it's that.
I think that there's a big difference in the clinical care.
Right.
Because in the hospital, we have a lot more clinical care that we have to perform. Dressings and assessments on wounds and post-surgical patients, and depending on the area that you work in, trauma, or other areas within the hospital, it's more clinical. And I think in the school it really is more psychological, honestly, because you have to, a lot of it's hormonal and a lot of it's emotional, a lot of it has to do with just basically helping kids how to manage. And then we do still have a lot of medical conditions. We've had children with feeding tubes and cancer. People think that we just give out Band-Aids, but kids have illnesses and they go to school.
I want to know, and the people probably want to know, why does it take so long when I go to the ER and I'm sitting in that waiting room for hours on end? Like, what is going on behind the scenes that is taking me so long, or taking everyone so long for me to be seen at that time?
Did you ever work in the ER? Yeah. So I'll take that one. Then you probably didn't need to go to the ER. You probably needed to go to urgent care, because what takes so long is that there are emergent cases, and in the emergency room, it's not first come, first serve. It's who needs the most emergent care. And unfortunately, the reason why a lot of people wait is because you have people that have been sick for a month and still think it's an emergency because their stomach hurts really bad tonight. And instead of going to a doctor, or a primary care doctor, they're there, and then you're running tests on them to figure out, is there something emergent? Because now they're here complaining about it. In the interim, you are treating people who are having emergent situations. They're in the middle of having a heart attack. They had traumatic brain injuries. There are things that need, and then those tests take a long time for the assessment. If you need to do CAT scans, if you need to get an MRI, if we need to do something to figure out what it is that we need to do for that patient, whether it's admit them or discharge them. And it does cause a lot of times a large wait time. In the summertime, down the shore, people like to get out on the water. They don't really know how to use a jet ski. They come in, half their legs missing. Sometimes it gets more interesting, but those things do take a long time to address. And then other people come in because they're on vacation and they don't have a doctor and they have a stomach ache and they don't know where to go. So you are going to wait a while. So,
what is that conversation like between you and the doctor?
for what?
This in general, because I feel like the doctor just comes in for 2 seconds, and they'll be like, all right, such and such and such, and you need to go follow up this time. But I'm spending more time with you as a nurse. Like, what is that conversation? Just in general, is it just, go in there, this guy, you don't need to worry about him. He's all right. Just go in here and take care of him. But I just feel like I see the doctor for 2 seconds.
Well, I think in the hospital situation, and I think Tina would agree with me, that the doctors rely a lot on our assessment. We are trained to be the person that assesses a patient. And obviously the doctor's going to come in and validate what we feel the concerns are, but that is our job. We're in there doing the intake, we're getting all the information, and while we're doing that, we're doing an assessment. If you know nurses, we don't have a conversation with you without having a conversation with all of you. We're looking at you. If there's something wrong, if your eyes look funny, we're assessing everything, and then we're going out there and taking the information and then the clinical information, the lung sounds and everything else, and we're discussing with the doctor what the concerns are. He only has to come in and validate them.
It sounds like you're doing all the work.
Yeah, it does sound like it. So let me ask this. How close is the show Grey's Anatomy to what? No? Nowhere near it?
No. Because those doctors work in every department in that hospital and never use nurses, so I don't know.
Never.
No.
No, even when they go like outside the hospital and give treatment, that never happens and stuff like that. I don't really watch a whole lot of hospital shows, but Grey's Anatomy, from my understanding, is supposed to be like the closest thing to being actually in the hospital. No?
Just out of curiosity, in your time working in the hospital, have you ever had a doctor sit by a patient's bed overnight to make sure? Yeah, okay, so no, I'm going to go with her.
No?
Not a chance.
So we debunked one myth. Grey's Anatomy.
I want to go to another space.
Okay.
Now, it's coming on the heels of flu season. Why don't nurses get sick? Like,
Because we're around it all the time.
So you've built up an immunity to it. And we've talked about this before in a previous podcast.
Yeah. All right, okay. Here's my question. Why do we administer flu shots in the winter and not in the summer?
Because flu season isn't in the summer, it's in the winter.
But if you're trying to build up a tolerance, wouldn't it be best to have it in the summer where they can be home and not throw up in people's offices and stuff?
You sound like you talking about personal experience. What happened in your
Does that
office?
happen to you recently?
I had a traumatic experience. I'm actually going to seek counseling for it.
I heard you was calling everybody.
I was on the phone. Somebody, coffee went everywhere. It was just traumatic. I've been through a whole lot.
I
I'm going to throw that out
Yeah,
there.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't the flu. But I will say,
Yes.
on your behalf, that as traumatic as it was, you handled that very calmly. Like, you kept yourself fairly enough together.
Listen, we
wasn't
can't
watching.
we can't keep our audience
His voice.
we can't keep our audience in the dark. You have to explain the situation and what happened.
All right, here's the situation. So, I would say about 3 years ago, I happened. A kid comes to my office and kid is not feeling well. Mm-hmm. Take him down to the nurse. Nurse check him out, make sure everything physically is fine. Right. Then I have a little conversation. Say, hey, listen, you gonna get back to work? You're not going home. Then take him to another office, sitting there. Come back 10 minutes later, still got their head down. I would have waited 11 minutes and not 10 minutes. The spill wouldn't have happened in my office, and I'm still haunted by this 3 years later. So I deal with a whole lot. I mean, I've seen people get shot. I've seen people get stabbed that didn't panic.
Rumors has it that you had your seat and chair out in the hallway with a sign on it.
Oh, listen, it got ugly. Coffee, I knocked him down with coffee, trying to pick up the phone, trying to call for help. It was ugly.
It was just
coffee
throw-
everywhere
it was
on the
throw
phone. Hey, listen, you need to come. It was just ugly. I couldn't save my chair, so the chair had to be pushed out. It always trash.
That is too funny.
So the budget
Well,
had to
everybody
increase.
has something that they can't handle. Even nurses have that one thing that bothers them. So
Yeah, I can't handle that.
vomits yours.
So what's that one thing that you can't handle?
Mucus. Mucus.
I mean, it's like somebody blowing their nose.
No. Like mucus that has been sitting down here for like a month and they finally get it out and it's
Oh, you're talking about this stuff.
thick and
Oh. That's that green stuff? Oh.
yeah. I can't. That's the one time we were just talking about being able to control your face. So that was the one time I was not able to control my face.
Did you knock over your coffee when that? No.
No, I did not have my coffee at the time.
Did you call the main office?
Call it. It's an all call. It's an all call. Everybody needs a report.
I wasn't even there that day. Somebody was calling me. He was like, "Yo, Kareem going crazy."
Listen. It's an all call. Absolutely.
What about you, Melanie? What's the one thing that you can't stand?
I don't like eyeballs. Like, I don't like having to, when you're having to treat patients and
Are they looking at you?
no, when you have to do things with their eyeballs, when you have to like do treatments around their eyes or patches or put ointments in their eyes. I don't like eyeballs. You can vomit on me. You can pee on me. You can have open wounds.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I didn't say you. I said me.
This podcast is about to go to a whole nother level.
No, nobody's peeing on nobody.
Yeah, where's the psychology? So anyway, having to deal with eyeballs bothered me.
Oh my goodness.
So about administering like eye drops, that bothers you?
I'm okay. Like, I can do that, but I don't like it. No, if it's by choice, I would rather not.
You ever have a patient come in and that eyeball just hanging out?
Bulging, but not hanging out of the
Oh.
socket.
No.
No eyeballs for you.
What was the most disgusting thing that you've seen? That got you was like, yo, that's ridiculous.
Oh, I got one.
Not tragic, but it's disgusting.
Maggots.
I know. I just knew that you were going to do the maggots.
What do you mean,
I
maggots?
knew it.
Like in the trash can or something?
No, in the
No,
wound.
In the what?
in her wound.
And the person was alive?
An open wound on her leg, and
Where'd she get maggots from?
Well, they festered in the tissue.
Oh my
there must have been a fly in their house, and
What?
it went to the wound.
So she was chilling for a while with this whatever.
Yeah, I think she might have had cancer or something.
Uh-huh.
And the treatment to get maggots out of a wound is to use raw bacon.
What?
Put raw bacon over the wound, leave it there for 10 minutes, and all the maggots come out to go to the bacon.
I'll never eat bacon ever.
What kind of bacon are you talking about? Now you're talking about
It's the honey.
Hospital bacon, but I have to
hickory bacon. What kind of bacon are we talking about?
impressed because the hospital used real bacon and not bacon. I completely thought that the hospital would have sold.
Oh, that's
So we can
disgusting.
use bacon as a treatment.
And then you have to get your tweezers and pick them out one by one.
Yeah, you have to.
What do you mean? Yeah.
You have to pick out.
Like
the
as
maggots.
the
You couldn't
I took
like
the
slowly
bacon
like
off.
like pull the bacon and have the maggots like follow the bacon.
Follow it.
It's not tape. It's tape.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not.
Yeah, that was the worst thing, and I think that I've.
Oh, I don't think I could do that one.
No.
I'd have left. I'd be like, I said I'm done. What about you, Melanie?
I've had maggots in a home care patient. They didn't bother me. I think my worst was there was a patient in trauma ICU, and he was in isolation. He had a lot of things going on with him, but he had a completely open abdominal wound, and he had a leaking bowel, and the surgeon was trying to figure out if he could patch it because it was so significant. And when we were in there with the wound care specialist discussing it, his intestine actually exploded. And then so it was kind of messy, but I think the odor was more because it was pretty it was pretty significant. And I think more interesting than that, but less. It didn't have the odor. There was probably one of my very first patients. One of my first times on the floor, I had a gentleman whose abdomen was so distended, they were trying to get him into surgery. Did I ever tell you about this? And it was one of my first times on the floor as a nurse, and his abdomen actually popped. It opened up. While we were all in the room because he was. I don't know. He wasn't Down syndrome, but he was definitely. He couldn't sign off for himself, and we were trying to figure out who could sign the consent forms, and his significant other was also mentally impaired. And as we were trying to talk about it, it became a moot point because it was clearly an emergency surgery. So we went in, but that wasn't like his intestines, so the odor wasn't. So that was just more interesting.
And intestines exploding. Did that have anything to do with Pop Rocks and soda?
No, without that.
That's a myth.
All right, no Pop Rocks and soda. Yes.
Yep.
I wish we had video because me and Kareem's face is like screwed up right now. Like I was like, oh man.
Not even sure if they're ever going to go back, right?
My goodness. So my wife today was saying she wasn't feeling well. She thinks she has the flu. She was like, but I got the flu shot. And I was trying to explain to her there's different strands of flu. What's going out right now, and a lot of our staff is going out, a lot of people getting flus and things of that nature because and they had the flu shot. Can you explain a little bit about the strands of flu that are out there? How does that work in terms of the strands of flu and why the flu shot isn't necessarily 100% effective?
Well, the flu shot is based off of last year's strain. Bacteria and viruses mutate, and so they change based upon last year and last year's treatment to be better this year at not being able to be treated.
So when you have a staff member that's constantly spraying Lysol everywhere, it's actually making it work.
They sprayed me. I didn't get sick. They sprayed me. I didn't get sick. They sprayed me.
It was a phone. She sprayed you through the phone?
Sprayed me. Later on, I'm like, they sprayed me. I'm like, yo, I wasn't even sick. Across the desk.
So is that helping or is it making it worse? Is it making a super germ at the end of the day?
I don't necessarily think that Lysol.
I'm over exaggerating. Just in terms of, I know we talked about this before. In terms of, you need germs in your life to build that immunity. And I, tell your kids to go outside and play and all that other stuff. It comes to a point where being, overly cautious with the hand washing and the hand sanitizers and all that other stuff. And I know a lot of parents do it. Like, is it really counterproductive in the end?
If the people are over obsessive with it, it can be. They actually have had studies that show that the use the overuse of hand sanitizer actually promotes more germs because when you're using it so much, you're decreasing all that the bacteria, and it's not allowing for the normal flow, that normal flora, and it actually causes more problems and more illness because anything that you touch then just gets even more, magnified, and you can get a lot sicker. But there are different strains of the flu too, speaking of the flu, and that's probably I think what they say, the flu shot 10%.
Yeah, I think it was like 10% this year.
And it doesn't necessarily prevent the flu. It is supposed to help lessen the severity if you're exposed to the flu by having that exposure. So getting it in the summer means that exposure would probably be entirely too minimal by the time flu season came. To go back to your previous question.
So are they actually injecting the flu inside of you when you get the flu shot?
They're injecting virus.
And I never really understood that. Like, you want to build my system to be stronger by putting something in it that wasn't there.
Well, did you get the smallpox vaccine, or are you too young for that?
What, the who? I don't know.
Wow.
Listen.
Wait a minute.
Okay, anyway.
Chicken pox.
Varicella. I mean, come on. Like, you had to get something.
I don't like nobody putting anything in me. I'm petty. So
Okay, and some people don't. But the philosophy on immunizations is that and that is why a lot of immunizations you have to get more than one of, because you get very mild doses, and it allows your body over time to start building up that immunity, so that your body says this agent isn't appropriate and it's going to hurt me. So your body starts fighting it, and then when it gets a little bit more, without bombarding your system, so that your body doesn't have enough time to have the defensive mechanisms to prevent it.
Yeah, I've never had a flu shot. But I haven't, as long as I can remember, I never had a flu either.
Same here.
But if I'm going to leave and say if I'm going to, like, out of the country, third world country, then yes, I'm all for getting those vaccines.
Wait a minute. You never had the flu shot before?
The only time I ever got it was when I was pregnant. They made me.
Huh.
You know, to know we're in the hospital? Yeah, I have to get it every year. We have to get it.
Oh, you have to wear a mask or something?
Right. We don't have to get it technically, but if you've ever worn a mask for 13 hours trying to talk to people, it's very inconvenient and uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
You get flu shot?
I got a flu shot more so because my wife is pressing me to do so because she's crazy. She's crazy. Yeah, I gotta say it was a stomach virus though. It wasn't. It was different. So, but I get it, and I get sick every time I get it. So that's why I don't like getting it, because I get all achy and sick and stuff like that. But because they're injecting you with the flu, so obviously you're going to have some symptoms. But
if it was like a pill, you can fake it, like put it under your tongue and then spit it out.
Nah, they put that needle in me and kind of just go ahead. But somebody over there having a side conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I said you probably make yourself sick.
I knew it was coming. She's saying it's psychological.
You know they're injecting you with the flu.
Start looking at the calendar like,
You're not really sick. You just have like the man flu because you got the shot.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. We ain't getting there yet. We're going to go there in a minute. I ain't going to say I had the flu, but I do get achy. Like, I feel achy. Not necessarily sick. Like, I don't know. Whatever. We'll talk about the man flu in a minute.
The man flu. That's different.
Matter of fact, let's just go there now.
Let's go ahead.
Let's just go ahead and go there.
What is this man flu that they speak of?
I wish my wife was in here to have this conversation, because apparently my wife believes that I'm overly sensitive to being sick and take things to the extreme.
Would you like me to get your wife to go?
No. She's not going to be on here. Now, I'm going to put this in context for a second. So it was a time a couple years ago before we had kids, and I was like, I think it was their New Year's, and I was like, I can't breathe, like something's wrong with me. And I'm telling her, she was like, oh, you are, you okay? And I was like, no, I really can't breathe. So a couple minutes go by, and it gets worse. And I'm telling her, like, she thinking I'm having the man flu and being overly sensitive. She was like, go outside and get some air.
She sends you
outside. So I go outside, get some air. I'm like, yeah, I'll come back. I can't breathe. I got to go to the hospital. Long story short, I go to the hospital. Turns out I have asthma. Right? But she think I'm having this man, I'm being overly sensitive as a man.
Just having a moment.
Right. So I will say there's times where if I'm sick like, I don't like feeling sick. So I'll just, sit down and whatever. I'm shutting it down. And that's it. I don't necessarily need you to wait on me hand and foot, but at the same time, I'm shutting it down just because I just don't feel well. I think women have this feeling, at least my wife says, well, how many times I feel sick and I still get up and do whatever. I'm like, that's fine. You go do what you got to do. But
you didn't get a number? How many times?
I'm shutting it down. Like the last time I had the stomach virus, and the reason I came in. It
was last like 2 hours. You was out.
And I left because my wife called me soft at the end of the day because I was like, I don't think I can make it. Like I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was in the bathroom giving it up the whole night, and she was just like, well, you know how I do. I just go, run through it. I was like, she just called me soft. Like I got to go to work. So I drive an hour out there, or 40 minutes out there, and I get to my office. I'm like, I can't make it. I said, I'm going to spend my whole time in this bathroom. I said, I'm going home. I lost at that point in time. But
did you tell her you was going home?
Huh?
Did you tell her?
No, I didn't. Oh. She knew No, as a matter of fact, I did. I did call her. I did call. And I was thinking in my brain, like, I'm really sick, but she calling me soft. Like, I had this internal battle with me. But at the end of the day, if I'm sick, I'm sick. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but
what about your kids?
What about them?
What about the grocery store?
Do I? Grocery store.
What about the bills that have to be paid?
We all make choices in life, right? I have a job, thankfully. I have sick days. If I'm sick, I can take them and not be penalized with them. In the end, if she was sick and then we had to go to shopping, I could go. But the problem would be I wouldn't shop the way she shops. So that's why she steps up and says, I'm just going to go out here and be the martyr and shop while I'm sick.
maybe you should just shop the way she would want you to shop.
No, we can't. Now we going to, no. See, that's...
in our office, the Tina and I work together. And in our office, we have, we have kids that come in all the time. And we tell them about that story. What's that story, Tina?
Peter and the Wolf.
No, little boy.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Peter and the Wolf.
That's what I meant. There's a wolf in there somewhere.
Peter and the Wolf. I haven't heard that story. Peter and the Wolf.
So if you keep calming down and you keep complaining every time you have a little agita, you got something going on, and you're just complaining when something's really wrong, I'm going to be like, all right.
Whatever.
So what
But I don't do that, though.
He's a complainer. He's a whiner.
Well,
he whines all the time.
When he's sick, that's the man flu.
No, time out. Listen, I don't, like, if I'm sick, I'm really sick. Like, I don't complain. Like, the little aches and stuff like that, I push through them things. But if I'm sick, which happens maybe once a year, I'm sick at the end of the day. Like,
well, then don't complain about it. Say, I'm taking a day off when you go to work, and when you come home, I'll have rested and feel better, and I will make dinner.
no, I ain't doing all that. I'm sick. I'm shutting it down.
So they're okay. So they making me believe that when you come home, you act, honey, can you feel my head? I think I have a temperature. Is that who you are?
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying right now.
I feel like the reason that we did not call his wife in here is because she may validate.
No, she's not going to be on there. We can open the door and ask her to come in. Matter of fact, you know what? Continue the conversation. I'll bring her in.
You go ask her.
Man, okay. So let me ask you this: is it more females than males that come down and visit you guys on a daily basis?
More males, is that what you said?
More males.
It's more males.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're trying to say that the male species is weak, which we are.
No, I'm saying that you asked a statistical question,
Yes.
and we gave you a statistical answer.
Would you say that we're weaker?
There are more
We are the
men.
weaker species.
More boys.
We are the weaker species.
I think that males
It's okay.
feel that they need more encouragement and reinforcement.
Let's turn this around. What about your husbands? I sound like this is personal. I feel like this is personal. Do your husbands do the same
Mine
thing?
is
It's personal
Gets the
as
man
well. Yes.
Absolutely.
The man
He'll
flu.
lock himself upstairs for a whole weekend and
What you mean?
can't be around anybody because he has a 99.1 degree
He
fever.
doesn't want to get everybody sick.
Yeah. Yes.
He's taking one for the team.
Right.
So the other day I was walking into school, and a boy, because he's a male, and a boy said to me, "You look sick." A student. And I said, "Do I look sick?" And he said, "You do." And I said, That's because I feel sick. So this is now a life lesson. Look at me. And you see me walking in. I'm going to clock in. And I'm going to go to work. And I'm not going to be complaining about my sick today. Because sometimes you just got to suck it up, buttercup.
Suck it up,
Get on
buttercup.
with it.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. If you sick, you sick.
If I'm sick, I'm sick. But I'm not going to drag it on everybody else. So I said to him, take this as a life lesson. When you calm down because you're sniffling and we can't help you, you got to go back to class because that's your job. So I don't feel good today. And you're right. And I look horrible and I'm feeling horrible. And I'm still going to go in and do my job. And that's how we're going to do that.
We got a full house in here right now. We going to expand this podcast a little
Call
bit.
in some reinforcements when we were discussing.
I'm going to have you share that microphone. If y'all actually, do that. Get that to.
You have to get close together.
So people know what's going on right now. This is the first on the podcast. We're going to go ahead and celebrate here. My beautiful wife is in the building. Let's make some noise for my wife.
Yes, I am here.
She is here. My sister-in-law, my beautiful sister-in-law is in the building. This is the first time she's on.
Thank you.
I have to have y'all on here because I just told the story about go outside and get some air. So before my wife even say anything, and my sister, just so everyone knows, she wasn't out in here when I tell the story. Tell the story again, please. What happened? We go outside and get some air.
Who, me?
Yes.
When
You all right?
it was
Not too much detail now.
no, it was New Year's Day. And you decided that you came up with asthma all of a sudden.
He diagnosed himself?
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's
I
self-diagnosed?
diagnosed myself.
Yes, all right.
So me and Becca were downstairs drinking and having a good time, drinking up all the vodka and carrying on, and you was carrying on upstairs like you couldn't breathe. So
See the love I get and the sympathy I get.
your wife told you to take. Didn't you tell him to take a shower with the
Oh yeah,
Shower.
eucalyptics. I forgot
Yeah.
about that part.
So-
yeah.
She was.
She's a
She was care about you.
apparently you came back down
Apparently-
talking about that didn't help.
Apparently that's a cure for asthma. Eucalyptus.
It actually does.
You didn't have asthma at the
Go ahead.
time.
You didn't have asthma at the time.
You can't chime in yet. You can't chime in
So the
yet.
eucalyptus didn't work. So we're downstairs drinking and playing cards, and here you come like the Walking Dead. So Becca said, "Go outside and get some air. You'll be all right."
All right, wait. I have one. Wait.
Go ahead.
So let me make sure I understand this right. He comes downstairs and say, "Hey, listen, I can't breathe," and y'all tell him, "Get out the room, go back upstairs, take a shower."
Hold on.
Yeah,
time out.
no, he couldn't breathe. So we eucalyptus.
Let's go all
trying to paint this
let's go all the way in.
We go all the way in?
Stop censoring this thing. We're gonna go all the way in
Let's
because
get it.
Christmas time, somebody bought me a bottle of vodka.
Grey Goose.
Grey Goose.
Goose to get you loose. The
Give
goose
me
got you
loose,
loose,
right? So
Okay.
we're gonna go with that one, right? So meanwhile, I'm not feeling well, so I didn't drink anything.
Okay.
These lovely ladies already had their own something going on.
Okay.
Decided to open up my bottle
After we drank one bottle.
and
Said
drink
you going.
This is just about them drinking your Christmas. This
This is getting real petty. This is a petty holiday right here.
Absolutely.
So this pity party went a lot further than.
So not only did I have asthma, I didn't have anything to
You
drink.
didn't have asthma yet.
Wasn't diagnosed. Okay, listen. The holidays. It's cold outside. It's hot in the house. There's all lights going on. A lot of people coming and going.
Y'all was hot because y'all drank all the liquor.
The windows fogging up, everything. You know, when you get hot, sometimes you can't breathe. So I said, go outside and get some air.
You'll be all right.
Because I like statistics. Approximately how many people was in the house?
Just the three of us. And the dog.
Wait, it gets better. So after we decided I have to go to the hospital, mind you, they were drinking.
Till
I wasn't.
7 o'clock in the morning.
I
It
couldn't
It was New
breathe.
Year's Eve.
It was New Year's Day.
Still.
I had to drive.
New Year's Day, yeah, because you hadn't gone to bed. So
I had to drive my own self to the hospital. I couldn't breathe.
First of all,
They sent you alone?
no.
Basically,
Becca went with
I
him.
might as well have been on myself.
I mean, she wasn't going to make you breathe.
We live
anyway,
right
so
next door to
it's
each other in
not
townhouses. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I think we should go to bed now. So
At
I
7 in
went
the
home
morning.
to my house.
I couldn't breathe from
She
12
calls me
to
15
7.
minutes later and says, "Guess what?" And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Guess who I'm taking to the hospital?" I was like, "Oh."
Long story short, I had asthma, and they tried to get me in the shower and go outside and get some air.
Now he has asthma. Then he didn't. It wasn't diagnosed yet.
That night we didn't have it.
Until I got into the hospital, and the nurse diagnosed me because the doctor didn't do anything.
Okay, you have
But
asthma
if you
now.
had asthma
Mm-hmm.
and you said that you were having a hard time breathing, and Becca said go up and use some eucalyptus and get in a hot shower,
Don't give her that.
that would have been. I'm sorry. That
Don't
would,
give her
no,
that.
No,
Uh-uh.
no. Well,
Did they-
that would
we're
have
not
been
doing that.
appropriate. That would have been completely appropriate.
Did they laugh at
Would
you?
that not have been-
They were the whole time. Never mind the fact my wife was doing the worm the whole time.
laughing at him. We were laughing at our shenanigans.
No, they was
downstairs.
laughing at me. They was like, go outside and get some air. we gonna experiment on him. Get some eucalyptus.
So let's go back to the little boy that cried wolf and why women behave that way.
Have I ever said at that time that I couldn't breathe?
It's a really petty
Yes.
moment right
Do
here.
we want to talk about all of your hospital visits?
Oh,
Oh,
Do we
it's
want
getting
to?
personal. I was dehydrated a couple times.
Oh, wait a minute. No, because
Yeah,
that was the very
she can
first
chime in on that one.
Because I was the nurse sitting in the office going, "Oh, this one's going to be a winner." First week,
Almost passed
got a
out.
cardiac concern. He needs a bottle of water, and his wife told him to drink a bottle of water, and he said no.
No, wait. In my
Get some air and
defense,
drink some water.
Right?
some eucalyptus. Listen, in my defense, I did not want to go to the hospital that day, but my secretary.
Because you did not drink enough
But
water.
wait a minute.
Why don't
We're
you
not
just let me
talking
get
about
some
that
water?
day. We're talking about the 3 times before that.
They don't know about that. We ain't got to talk
They're
about
getting
that.
to know now.
This is
We
good.
actually
That's
did
all
now
right.
the last podcast. We kind of hit on that.
Yeah, we did.
But
You're right.
Okay, so he went to the hospital. First time he had to go to the ER. Oh my goodness, I rushed from work. Oh my God, my husband's in the hospital.
This is how sympathetic my lovely wife is. Go ahead.
I rushed from work, came from Philly, got in a cab, an $80 cab drive to meet you at the hospital.
man.
She
Love.
exaggerating.
That's love. $80 for a cab? That's love.
And the doctor said dehydrated.
She took a Uber.
And I was like, because you didn't drink water? Okay, all right. So I was there. All right.
You went to the hospital?
Wait a minute.
She said, "Happy birthday." That was it.
So the second time he called me, I'm going to the ER. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to finish out my day at work.
No, wait, time out. No, time out. I'm gonna tell you why I said that. Listen. I went to my doctor, and because I wasn't feeling right, and they wouldn't let me drive to the ER, so they put me in an ambulance because they was like, I don't know what's. Let me.
Get back here. Give us a picture.
Put another side to it. I have a heart situation, right?
Okay.
So that you got to throw that in the picture too. So my doctor was like, "I need you to go to the hospital because we don't know what's going on because I have an irregular heartbeat
If the
and all
patient
that stuff."
says, "I don't feel well," and we can't find anything, we can't be responsible.
Right, I
for
understand
what is
that.
Not going on.
Listen, but they sent me to the hospital, and actually, at that time, that's when they gave me the stress test and all that other nonsense to find out what was going on with my heart and the slow heart rate and all other stuff. It turned out at the end I was dehydrated again, but they didn't let me go and drive, which is why I called my wife. It's like, I'm going to the hospital. I didn't want to go to the hospital. They was making me
And
go
I
to the
said,
hospital.
okay, I'll meet you there after I get off of work. I wasn't rushing this time.
You spent 3 G's because you ain't been to the water?
Drinking water.
At the end of the day,
Okay.
the moral of the story is drink water.
So, third time,
It was more?
She didn't even answer the phone the third time.
the third
So
time,
she sent the
when I
voicemail?
finally got to the hospital, I pulled that curtain back so hard and said, listen,
Why you censoring yourself?
I cursed him out so bad, and I told him, you better have your life insurance in check. I'm not doing this anymore. And I shut the curtain and walked away. And if you could have seen all the eyes of the nurses and all the other patients in there because they were still in. And I was
Was
like,
the third time after he started working ever in
That was the third time. That was the third
because we
time.
were like, oh yeah,
Like, drink
he's
water.
dehydrated.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why didn't you give me water then?
Because your wife
And tell me to go outside and get some air.
Calm down to us then. You didn't know.
'Cause-
Tina was not with me then.
They sent me out. My secretary was like, I'm taking you to the hospital. The principal was like, I'm taking you to the hospital. I was like, what do you want me to do?
Drink some water. How many cases of water do I keep?
We do.
I go
Listen,
five cases of water.
apparently water is the remedy for everything. You go down there
And
with a
so is
headache,
air.
get some water.
A lot of things.
And air.
Your foot falling off, go drink some water.
And it
So
grow
you
back.
can put some tussin on it.
How many hospital visits did we talk about here?
They know him by name.
No,
when
You don't even have to sign in no more?
that's
when
not
we
true.
talk about the little boy that cried
That's
wolf,
not true.
about feeling, I feel like you've kind of like reinforced
But
everything we've said.
if I'm not a doctor and I'm telling you I'm not feeling well, like the time they sent me out, I was
Try
almost.
drinking some water.
I was about to pass out, but nobody. When you sick, ain't nobody telling you like.
But if it's your third time, maybe just next time, just drink some water.
You're absolutely right. I understand.
If it's your second time, maybe just drink some water.
I hate everybody.
Third
Podcast
time.
over.
Get
All
some
y'all
air.
need to go get some air. Go outside, get some air.
I feel like you just validated everything we said.
No.
Thank you. mean,
I wasn't crying wolf though. It wasn't like I was faking. Like it was. I felt.
But what we're saying
Sick.
wasn't. So when you said, "Why do you have those long waits when you go to the ER?"
Oh, I wasn't worried about that.
Because they weren't drinking water.
They rushed me in because they thought, because of my heart
Yeah,
situation. So I wasn't worried about that.
But you
I
didn't
was,
really have a heart situation.
but I
Just
did
dehydrated.
too. But
Oh, wow.
I think I was misdiagnosed.
How'd you get through the triage? Did they?
Huh?
Did they
He was
That's
in
what-
triage when I cussed his ass.
really?
I
You
hate,
left him in the triage?
I hate everybody. I hate nurses, doctors, medicine, tussin. I hate all of it. I hate all. All right, let's listen. I'm gonna turn it a little bit. Let's go to some myths that I looked up real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna get the focus off of me for a minute. I'm gonna take it. I want to know, and I read this online. Is it true or not true that you can get an STD from sitting on the toilet?
True.
You're not a doctor. You can't answer that question.
You can get crabs.
Oh my goodness.
Just crabs at STD.
It's got Old Bay on it. Ever.
I'm not
It's
sure if
pubic lace.
it is pubic lice, but I don't know that that's considered an STD.
Oh.
'Cause it's
Crabs is not
disease.
considered an STD. All right. Well,
Well, it's a
sexually-
For me, it is.
and that is definitely an inconvenience.
An inconvenience.
It definitely is an
I will
inconvenience.
tell you that working in a school, head lice, because of the American Pediatric Association, they consider it head lice a nuisance. Like, we don't exclude kids anymore.
You don't go to
Really?
the ER for it?
No.
Only if
No.
you're a male.
If I see it, you're going out. If I see it, you're going out.
Greg
Yeah.
sees it, he's going down.
You're going out. Absolutely, you're going out.
But it's considered a nuisance, and so an STD is a disease. And that's the only,
yo, hold
that's
on
the
for a
only
second. I'm doing
place
a
I feel like,
podcast. I gotta ask you a question. Hold on. It's my cousin. Everybody, get everybody here. Listen, I want to know your opinion. Do you think listen, you're on the air, so be careful what you say. Do you think that crabs is an STD? Can you get crabs from sitting on the toilet seat?
They say they can.
Yeah, who are they?
The people.
Huh?
I'm in the construction field. They say in Delaware. Now that's a shame. They say that in Delaware crabs jump 3 feet.
3 feet?
Somebody measured it?
Man.
Yeah, so you gotta watch them
Damn,
girls.
crabs be
Delaware
jumping.
boys jump when they talk. Crabs jump 3 feet.
Is there a certain city in Delaware? Are we talking about Dover? Are we Wilmington? Where are we?
Is there a certain city?
Delaware.
Any,
They say.
the whole state of Delaware?
We in Smyrna? Where we at?
Rehoboth.
I don't know, man. Listen, I'm talking about the 90%ers. You know what I mean? It's the voting game.
Oh my goodness,
God.
that's funny.
You asked me about crabs. I don't know. I don't have crabs next door. But Delaware, they be weird because they jump 3 feet.
They jumping 3 feet.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I don't know about 3 feet.
Oh my goodness, you guys having a good time tonight, I see.
Yeah, we having fun. Listen, I'll call you back in a minute. I'll give you a shout out. All right. Yeah. Allegedly. Sorry. I had to take. I knew that was gonna be funny. I had another one here.
So we did Pop Rocks. You said no.
Oh, Pop Rocks.
We did Pop Rocks and soda. You
We
said
did
no.
that one.
Pop rocks.
The Pop Rocks and soda, right?
Yeah.
What about him?
They said if you eat that and drink soda, your stomach explodes.
Boom.
Dating the little boy in the 80s
Yeah,
died from
Mikey did. But they said that's not true.
They actually said, but I do think that it caused an intestinal problem that exacerbated a condition. That
Mikey from Life?
No, Mikey from Life
Is that Life
series.
dead?
You'll eat anything, Mike.
Mike is dead?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he died.
Pop Rocks and
Long
From
time
Pop
ago.
Rocks and soda.
Man, they
He didn't go outside and get some air. That's,
That's what you should drink some water, Mike.
All right, let's experiment right now. I got Pop Rocks. Who got the soda?
oh my goodness.
I think it'll irritate your stomach.
Does gum stay in your stomach for 7 years? I heard that was a myth too. That you
heard
ate,
that.
you
7
swallowed gum, it would stay in your stomach for a long time.
Wait, let me just tell you, Simi, our 9-year-old, just said to me the other day, Mommy, in 2 more years, this gum is going to come out of my stomach. And she was like, when I was 3, I swallowed the gum. So apparently she heard the myth.
Apparently, if you hold a piece of bacon in front of your mouth, the gum will come out. Let's go concussions for a minute, and we'll have fun with it first, and then get serious. For
I've
a second.
had experience with concussions.
Should you fall asleep or let your child fall asleep after they had a concussion?
No.
Depends on if they've had a CT. because
Michael-
the reason that you would be that concerned about them. Rest is actually one of the best things for a concussion, but if you haven't taken them to have a CT to find out if they had a brain bleed, you don't want them to sleep before you do, because the biggest concern with a head injury is if there is a brain bleed, and you don't want them to sleep unless you're confident that
Well,
there
what
is
happened if
not.
they go to sleep?
Well, then they won't be able,
As
they won't be
opposed
able
to being awake.
They want to be able to tell you that.
and you wouldn't be able to see if their behavior is different. Like, you would not be able to see the changes
Okay.
in them.
So that's
According
all
to my
about it.
son, Michael Anderson,
Oh, Jesus.
who was in love with the school nurse throughout his whole life of school
There it
history.
is.
A boy.
Yes.
And so that would be
And
why he
every year I
frequented,
had to
just
buy the
saying.
school nurse a Christmas present. He says you should not go to sleep.
But if you've
No.
had a brain injury and you haven't gone and gotten a CAT scan, that is true, because the philosophy is what happens with a brain bleed is if it's something that's significant enough, then you're going to have changed behavior, because that's going to alter.
Yeah.
And if you're sleeping, you're not going to be able to be aware
right,
of that.
right.
Once, if you've gone to the emergency room and you've had a CAT scan, or they're confident that you don't need one based on that, because a lot of times now, they used to do it automatically, but now they don't like to use the radiology if they deem it inappropriate. Then rest is actually the best thing to heal concussion, brain rest. But once you've determined that it's not a safety issue.
So my son that knows everything didn't.
He
wasn't
he's
right.
partially correct, but
just joking.
if you couldn't go to sleep with a concussion, some concussions take months to heal. That would be a lot.
I'm thinking. I don't know yet.
Need to go outside and get some air. You got a concussion, go get some air.
you
Go get some air. You'll be all right.
And drink some water. Concussions. Now, when I was playing football, I'll take it from this perspective because I know football. Playing football, when I was growing up, concussions wasn't a big thing. Now, part of me wants to say that kids are faster and stronger, and that's why you're seeing these big things. But I'm kind of like, I don't want to say is it really different than it was, or are we more educated? But I feel like some people are milking this concussion thing, and they don't really necessarily have concussions, or it's not as severe as a big of an issue with some of these kids today. I guess the question I'm coming up with is, as a parent, how concerned should I be with if my kid is an athlete with concussions? Because I've played football for a long time, and I know a lot of people who've had concussions and are perfectly fine, and I'm sure I had 2 or 3 of them in my lifetime. And maybe that's the reason I had asthma. Well, it's probably the reason I had asthma.
Did you watch the movie Concussion?
Yes, as a movie.
Yeah. You watched that?
Yeah, it's a
What you
movie.
think of that? No, Miso. It was a true story.
No, I'll chime in.
Go ahead.
I think that one of the important things that they forgot to mention, and they didn't harp on as much, was proper technique. Proper technique will alleviate a lot of the concussions that kids are getting today. A lot of kids today are leading with their head. They don't have really good technique, which is leading to a lot of injuries.
Well, that's what back in the day you were taught to
Yes.
lead with your shoulder, which technically you can't lead with your shoulder without your head going down at the end of the day, and that's how you just tackle people. I don't know. I see. I'm skeptical because it's one of those things. Like if someone has a broken leg, you can see the broken leg. Like mental, anything with the mind and anything, you can't really see it. So I'm kind of skeptical as how severe is it? Are you really playing it, or are you just?
Yeah, like asthma, you can't see that.
Oh, Jesus. You can hear me going, I can't breathe. I don't want water. Get out of here.
She brought it for me. I
that
don't know what
water?
you're talking about.
See how my wife do me? She
you
thinks she's
water?
funny.
No, you've been talking a lot.
You
wet your whistle.
You look dehydrated, Miso.
You do look a little dehydrated.
What they're telling you now is that they're not taking you to the hospital, baby. You're on your own.
I think that you're right on both counts. My opinion on concussion is that the sports are a lot faster. They're a lot more intense. There's a lot more kids going for it. Like it's just faster and harder. So that you see more head injuries because of that. I do think that they're not trained as appropriately. I know my husband played ice hockey, my kids played ice hockey, and you'd see kids skating with their head down, and I'd be like, right there, that's a spinal cord injury. If your head's not up when you hit in, you're looking for a spinal cord injury right there, or a head injury. But I also think because concussions, I honestly wish if you have video, if you ever put this on video, can you please put that on there? Damiso is making a wonderful face.
Yeah. No, I just took a picture, but yeah.
I do think also that kids do milk it because there isn't a specific diagnosis. Like you really have to go by symptomology and what people say. We see that a lot.
I'm crying wolf tomorrow or Monday when I go to work. I got a concussion. I'm going to be out of work for like a month.
You can't be on the computer.
I can't be on the computer. I got to take frequent breaks.
The
lights, turn the lights off, the whole
You don't
nine.
get paid. You just
Absolutely.
take a nap in your office for the whole day.
Put it in your 504.
You can
I
go
get
to
a
the nurse's
504.
office and
That's
just
awesome.
hang out.
I got one more myth. Should you feed or starve a cold and or the flu? Apparently my wife has the flu too, by the way. But should you feed or starve a cold?
I don't.
Depends on if you're hungry.
Yeah. Seriously. I never understood that.
That's what it's all about. You should hydrate it.
Yes, you should. You should
Definitely
drink
should
water.
hydrate it.
You should drink
But if you're
water.
hungry, eat.
Drink
If you
water.
ain't hungry, don't eat.
Sweet Jesus.
Yes.
All right. Now in time, let's switch. Let's completely flip it.
This is tough.
Mr. Petty,
Yes, sir.
we have a traditional question that we ask, and we have a lot of ladies on this show today. No, that's not his last name. We've
We've been
coined
changing
it.
names around here. He's Dame now. And I'm
He's
Petty.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Abdul-Jabbar.
/ Petty. We want to know: are you petty? Everybody that's here, are you petty?
When it comes to certain
Copper's
stuff,
petty.
It's either or.
You're the first woman that admit that off the bat.
when it comes to certain stuff, like
Like what?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
what?
Like houses in the Hamptons that nobody wants to.
Shut up, Miso.
She gets petty, like,
You've seen her
she's-
petty moments.
she's my sister. She might not think
And we're
it's
best
petty.
friends, so
Yes. So, like, when my good friend, when I do something with her or say, oh, wait a minute, I'll tell you.
Oh, this is
How
getting
can
deep.
you do
No,
something?
I'll tell you
this is
the
getting
exact
deep.
thing. I'll tell you the exact thing.
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
No. My sister came to me and said, after months,
I didn't come to you. We were on the phone.
yes, months ago.
You should have went outside and got some air.
Listen, when
You would have brought me a bottle of water.
when your friend was in the room and you said she was your best friend, that really hurt my feelings.
Oh.
Months ago.
Oh.
You waited 3 months to tell me that you were
But that's
hurt
what I
about
do.
that?
Like I hold it in.
She
That's
was
petty.
Did you hold it in because you didn't feel like you should feel upset about that, or did you?
No,
hold it in
I just
because you
hold it
don't
in
wanna say
because
it?
I just don't want to say it at the time.
3 months?
But
It could take
that,
longer.
I feel like
sometimes.
that's petty, but that's okay if that's not
No,
your
that's
fault.
petty.
That's petty.
Wait, it's petty for what? Like
Because you felt like that. Like, you're my sister. Come on.
Yeah.
Stop it. Nobody trumps
We
that.
airing out
Yeah.
family business
Like,
here on
nobody- no
Empowerment
friend can
Perspective
trump that.
is
Podcast.
it petty to say we nickel and dime?
Oh.
No, that is you.
No, that's not See?
Nickel and dime what?
No.
A lot of people turn their heads right then. I'm
Time
not
out. Here, listen. Here's the scenario, right? Listen. And I think this is where you're going. With me, if we're all out, let's say, and I can use you as an example. You buy stuff for the podcast. I buy stuff for the podcast. We don't go tit for tat. I don't keep a tab on you. It is whatever. You buy whatever.
Yeah.
These two right here,
No.
they got a ledger. Oh, you owe me $1.37. You better pay it this month.
Well, you said
you act like y'all don't do that.
Miso.
Y'all don't do that.
Miso.
Y'all don't do that.
Don't make me call you out.
What?
Miso.
When?
We don't do that. We do it once in a while.
Once in a while.
But you do it though.
Once in a while. Don't make me run down my list.
You have a list?
You have a list, see? That's what I'm talking about. It's petty. It's petty.
In the grand scheme of things,
What?
it is because like
It is.
how much does she do for our daughters? How long has Michael lived here?
Right.
It's like give
But-
and take its family.
But you don't keep tabs.
But when I
So
bought you that
that's-
jar of mayonnaise last week, I want my $2.
A jar of mayonnaise?
I don't eat mayonnaise.
So
Okay.
that's
You got-
If you would have said hot sauce, I might have believed
You got a hot sauce watch?
When I bought that bag of sugar in here 2 weeks ago.
Listen, I thank you for that.
Yes, I didn't give her the 386.
Listen, I couldn't.
Was it Domino? What kind of sugar was it for 386? Moment it was Domino.
Most of the time, no. I just do things out of the kindness of my heart because I want to. But like if I'm like broke,
Yeah,
I want my $1.32.
That's petty.
That is not
selfish.
petty.
Not if
That's
you're
selfish
broke.
and petty.
Not if you're
Not if you're broke.
If you need
Yeah.
that dollar,
You need that.
If you need that,
Yeah.
it's different if you need it. It's different if you need it.
yeah.
No,
No,
it
I
is,
agree.
It's different if you need
I
it.
So
agree.
are rich
If you're
people
like-
never petty?
If you're
Kareem,
overall
we're rich.
like here, if you're overall like here, you need something. I'm at the market. I grab it for you. But if you're like I'm broke, I can pick it up, but I don't have the extra
Yes,
cash.
exactly.
Then you need the cash. Like
Yeah.
if you're broke,
But me, so like, how many times do I ask for money back? Hardly ever. Hardly ever.
Brown.
Don't make me come over.
You
to
made me
you.
call you Brown on air.
Brown.
So
We're not gonna have this discussion.
No, we not.
All right. Are you petty? Do you feel like you petty?
No.
No?
No.
We just had a petty moment.
No, I was pointing out everybody else's pettiness.
yeah, I'm pretty confident that she said things about other people.
No, I don't think I'm petty.
You don't think you're petty?
No.
I don't think I'm
But
petty.
Spence will go at you until you
Yeah, admit-
find a moment of pettiness.
I'm about to go in right now.
I mean, that is his dig. He's,
Okay,
Are
so
you petty?
I am petty. I'm
He
looking
is
for other
Mr.
people
Petty.
to embrace their pettiness. I'll be the first
Like
one to
about
admit it.
what, Val?
Everything.
All right. Let's.
Give me an example.
The example that we always use is the wedding ring. We'll start with that. We'll
Okay.
start there.
So my brother got married back in December.
This water away from me.
You don't want the water? So the conversation that we were having on his last night, and this was
Last
Last
night.
night.
He was dying.
The last
not a
night of
man
his
anymore.
life?
I just was like,
last night of his life?
I completely feel you on that.
this is last night. Absolutely. The last night I could pick up the phone and be like, "Yo, let's go," and he can say okay without saying, "Hey, my brother just called. Can I go with him?" But where you guys?
I
What
can, but all right, like.
do you mean? He has to get permission before he goes in.
Can I go out?
Permission.
Yeah.
Some people do have to say that.
Yeah. He has to
Y'all
say.
like y'all don't. Y'all have
We don't
like
play that.
Yeah, like, do we have anything
But some
on the
people
calendar
do.
that I'm not going to be able to
Right.
do this?
If it's on the calendar, it's on the calendar.
What
If it's not-
calendar?
a
See-
calendar.
Just any calendar.
Having a petty.
all right. Who keeps the calendar? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Who got? You have a calendar?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if it's
Listen.
on the calendar.
Is this on Google Docs or something? You have a
Mine
Google
is.
calendar?
No, it's a real calendar. Like you got a
not married, if you
handwrite
don't
it.
have children. You can't.
What is
But
this
like,
calendar
do
thing?
you
Why do
write
you?
on the calendar like I'm going out with my
This
boy?
is my calendar.
No, we don't do
What is
that.
that?
And the podcast.
Why is it different colors?
Because it's different
Colors to know who it is.
What is this?
Podcast 6 p.m. Soccer
It's a
game 9:30.
calendar.
That's right.
That's it.
And if it's on there, that's happening.
But you don't see on there. I'm going out to hang out with Kareem or whatever on there. You don't see that on there.
I do. I put like GNO. Like,
This
I'm
is
not gonna
crazy.
do anything.
She got like clips too, so she can refer back.
You went out.
Now, because you told me your wife's an accountant. Do we keep these books for 5 years? How long we keep it? 3 years?
I was gonna say 7. So
You gonna say 7?
I was like 7.
Man, we keep the calendar books for 7 years.
That I was going with 7. So that you're right. You're not petty.
So you can't even go back and say that. Well, we did this then because they have the calendar.
Now listen, it's hard over here, man.
It's rough.
It's rough.
And when he's
It's rough.
This is rough.
And she comes right now. She about to let it out.
She had to get closer.
She want to make sure.
This one.
and when he springs things on me like, I thought I told you about this earlier, but I'm going to happy hour tonight. You remember, right? No, you never.
Is it on the calendar?
Well, here.
But no, because
time
he just
out.
decided. Wait a minute.
No.
Because he just decided 10 minutes ago.
No, that's not
I
true.
will write it on the calendar.
That's
so
not
that
true.
Next month, I can look back. And,
My lovely wife has selective hearing sometimes. There's time. No, listen,
it's rough.
There's times I will do that, but there's times where I will tell her well in advance I'm having a podcast at 6:00, and then she will forget, and I have to write it on the calendar.
Did you write it on your calendar?
But I told you though.
yeah, but I don't.
You didn't write
Do you
it
know
on your
how much
calendar.
stuff is going on in her head?
Why do I feel like this podcast is the world against me right now?
That's how I felt yesterday.
That's why you ain't saying. That's why you ain't saying that.
I don't let you read it. It's a rough week for us. Look, Brooklyn went in on me yesterday. I'm gonna leave it alone. I ain't gonna
If
say
you
that.
wrote it on the calendar,
It's
it
all
wouldn't have been
good.
a problem.
It wasn't
Huh?
on the calendar.
That's what I said. If you
Yeah.
wrote it on the calendar.
And I'm fine with the last minute decisions.
Right.
But you're not though.
No, I am very fine. But
And how much time you need for a last minute decision?
I don't need any. Just do I have to pick up the kids or are you doing it?
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. As long as everything's
true.
in order,
Yeah.
do whatever you want to
You
do.
So
can't
then
do a
why we
last
need a
minute
calendar?
decision when I have to work until 7 and you decide to go do something else and we have children to pick up. Because if it was your responsibility, then you need to take care of that.
Men getting a bad rap on this
No, I'm
podcast.
saying
No.
anybody. Like if it was my husband and he said I'm going to stay at work late and I'm at work and the kids need to go someplace and that was his job. And he
We didn't even get to the rings situation.
Yeah.
We didn't even get there.
So I feel like you're trying to say we're petty.
No, he's
Well,
telling
let's
his
hear.
petty story.
Let's hear.
All right,
Okay,
so
sorry.
this is last night out, and we have a conversation on wedding rings and how much should be spent for a man's wedding ring versus a woman's wedding ring. So my question to the lovely first lady of the house: how much would you spend on a wedding band for your husband if you could do it all over again?
I would spend whatever it took when I found one that I liked.
Okay,
I don't
Give me a
think
number.
Money, I don't think money. I don't know. $1,000.
$1,000. Okay, how much your ring gonna cost?
Mine.
Yeah.
Well, it better cost
Any ring.
3 months' salary.
Hey, whoa, wait, that's petty. You fell right into the trap. You fell right into the trap.
No, let me tell
You fell into the trap.
First of all,
He makes more money. $1,000? You make more than $1,000 a month.
but no, listen. First of all,
Yeah.
that isn't even the case. Because when we were looking at wedding rings, do you see any jewelry on me? I don't wear jewelry at all. When we picked out rings, I said, I just want a band. Like a plain band. That's what I wanted.
How did we get 3 months' salary?
That's just what they say.
That's what they
Yeah.
That's
Those people.
Who's that?
Actually say that's
So-
how much he had to
And
spend.
you know
That's
what?
how much he should be willing to spend.
That's
But you
petty.
know what he kept saying? Because the 3 month salary thing was the running joke. Well, I don't work during the summer because I'm a teacher, so 3 months.
Which 3 months you talking about?
3 months.
June, July, and August. I only worked 2 weeks in June.
I thought that was brilliant.
That's genius right there.
It is.
Tell the story.
Okay, so in my mind, and the way it works is that I want to go dollar for dollar.
With your fiance?
So how much bling do you want on your ring?
It doesn't matter. It's about the principle. If you want to
get-
spend 10 grand, I'm spending 10 grand too.
I get that, but are you going to wear that 10 grand band
Yeah,
Every day.
yeah,
with all that bling on there?
yes.
Okay.
So if she's like so in love with you and money doesn't matter to her,
Yes. And she spent 100,000? Yes.
Yeah.
If I had, we gonna spend 100,000. I'm petty.
so if she spends $10, then you're gonna spend $9.50.
No, I'm spending $10. Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar.
On her engagement ring?
Oh, well, I'm getting one too. You get 2 rings, I get 2 rings too.
We're
So
talking
wait.
about the wedding band.
We talking about both rings. I get 2 rings too.
So wait,
You basically
I'm
just
getting
said-
2
so her
rings.
dress costs
so you want to engage your ring?
$3,000.
My
You want
tux.
$3,000.
Yes, my tux
That's
is
all
going to be.
this is coming down.
All right.
Yes, we're going dollar
Okay,
for dollar.
so
all
okay,
makes
so what
sense.
if you meet somebody that is not like well off as you are? Like say you're well off.
Yes.
So and she's doing it out of the kindness and love of her heart.
Yeah, me too.
And so, and like all she can afford is maybe like $100 for a ring.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but you are rich,
Okay.
so you're only going to spend $100.
She better get some
It's going to be a
overtime.
nice $100 ring.
Well,
Good to
I think the
know.
philosophy is though that
Dollar for dollar.
a lot of
You guys
men-
hold on to a lot of money.
a lot of men frequently, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of men frequently propose, and they make the decision on the ring that they buy before the woman agrees.
This is
So
true.
why should we have to be forking up on so much cash? And my philosophy is now that we agreed to get married, your money is my money, so I'll spend whatever you want.
Whoa, whoa.
Now you
What about
can too,
yours?
brother.
We
No,
never,
you already bought mine.
no.
You wanted to ask me first.
I'm talking about your money, getting access to your money.
You get my money too. Like it all goes in the same pot, but that's what I'm saying. So if you,
It don't go in the
No.
same pot.
It's always
it
different
really
pots.
is. It's
I know there's always
Yeah,
there's
different
always an
pots,
extra
yeah.
pot on my
Yeah.
side.
So when you give her an engagement ring,
Yes.
you expect an engagement ring too?
Yes.
Well, how is
Is
she
gonna
supposed
take
to
her last
know?
name?
I'ma
Are you
tell
gonna
her.
take her last name?
Who,
Are you
what?
going to take her last name?
Care whose name she take? If she wants to be expensive, give it.
Are you going to take
Mine, dollar for dollar.
What you
We
mean?
would all like to state
should
that
take her
Kareem
last
is
name
not
also.
married or engaged.
No. Sometimes you guys got funny names.
Nor will he ever be.
No, my name is better.
Did you say sometimes we have funny names?
Yeah, my name is better. Spencer's way a lot better. My name is better.
Oh my goodness, this is funny.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why you're not engaged. Okay.
All right, all
Got
right.
that.
I think everyone has admitted their pettiness on
Absolutely.
some. Well, except for these two ladies.
They're petty.
Okay, no,
No, they're petty.
I have admitted my pettiness
Yes.
on the last show.
Yes.
That I did.
She's embraced it.
I don't think I am.
Everybody has
Stop.
petty
You have a
moments.
calendar.
That's petty.
That's
alone.
petty right
That's
there.
not petty. That's planning. I have 2 small
organization.
children.
So how you can't
That's
keep
planning.
up with that?
Why is the calendar petty?
Because she expects her husband to put everything on.
No, he started the calendar.
Oh, he's petty.
He started the calendar?
He started.
He
well,
did not
he's,
know he was getting
he's
himself
Google.
into.
He's Google.
No, he did
so he
not.
does Google, and he started it. And he told me I could add on in purple. That's my calendar.
We got to have him on the podcast. We're gonna have a man only podcast. We got.
Wait, I'm confused.
I feel like
I'm confused.
I feel like Damiso's
Okay.
totally embracing
On
the
his
man.
calendar because you showed me the calendar. Okay, you're purple.
He's
and
blue.
He's blue. Mm-hmm. Why do you guys need to have a calendar when you see each other every day?
Because he could be at work making plans, and I'm at work making plans, and then
Making
And he
plans.
doesn't open the invitation for the 7 birthday parties she had to go to this weekend.
yeah, that was
I feel like he got.
3, but it's
She had
kind of like
3, but
7.
It really felt like 7.
I feel like he got in trouble somewhere in the past, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fix this, make this calendar so she
No,
knows exactly where I am.
No,
all the
he-
time.
he-
Kids are
No.
small. You need to have, especially if you both work. Like you have to have organization. Somebody's picking the kids up. Somebody's taking them to the 27th birthday
Yeah.
party this weekend.
27th birthday party.
All right, it was
Kid?
3, but
It's
it just
3.
seemed like a lot.
There's a lot of kids. There's
On
a
the
lot
same
of kids.
weekend?
Yes, I had 2 today, and I have 1 tomorrow.
Her kids are cute. I don't know if you've seen them.
Wait,
Oh,
these
so
are your
they-
kids? You talking
they're
about?
A-list kids.
Birthday?
They're not their birthdays; they're friends' parties.
Oh, they're on the A-list, so they get invited to all the birthdays.
Everybody.
Well, they're like kindergarten.
The kids have their calendar is more booked than
Seriously.
ours.
That's
It
what
is.
the
So
calendar
if
is
you
for.
put it on the calendar, you can't be like, hey, I'm going out for happy hour. Oh, but I'm gonna miss my kid's soccer game. Like,
I won't
you
do
can't be
that.
all about that.
But
if
it's on the
not
calendar.
You wouldn't.
Wait a minute.
You wouldn't know.
Huh? It's a schedule that you get in the beginning of the year.
No.
You've got that
And
memorized.
is it up here
If I, yeah.
or is it on here?
No,
No,
when I coach baseball,
dude.
you can't be spitting stuff. That's why I'm looking. Make sure. I just had a traumatic experience.
He's petty and he's afraid of bodily fluids.
Yes. Yes.
Clearly, you missed that
It was ugly.
episode, but he
He's about to get on the phone
It was
call
ugly.
to Central Office.
It was ugly. You about to shut down the school. It was ugly.
I need you to bring up 20 gallons of Lysol.
Listen, I'm calling
His voice go
CDC.
up.
We need to shut this down. Got ugly.
bodily fluids.
Oh my god! All right, let's switch gears again. Last movie that made you cry.
The Champ.
The Champ.
Seriously,
What is
that 70s movie. She's still trying to the boxer
What is
with the
that?
little son.
With Ricky Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder.
Richie Rich.
Wow, let's bringing it back.
I'm telling you.
Oh, what's the show? He was rich. Silver Spoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Dad was
was
a boxer.
on the other day, and I was watching it,
And you was
and I
crying?
was bawling,
Oh, my God.
like bawling.
This is
But she bawled for the past 20
But
years.
I will ask you what they asked me the last time. They
You put
asked
my
this
mom
question.
No.
Are you a crier? Like,
You cry?
will
Yeah.
that make you cry anyway? Because then that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm very emotional. Yes.
seen the last movie.
Like
that
I've
we-
been watching The Walking Dead, and I've been crying for the last 3 days.
Okay, I watched The Walking
well,
Dead
that's-
too. Who
dude.
do you cry over?
Okay,
Carl,
I'm not
man.
What do you mean?
Wait,
Carl should have been dead a long time ago. He got shot in the eye.
wait a minute. Everybody
You have a
hasn't
problem when
seen
you
it
got
yet.
shot in the eye?
He got shot.
I didn't watch it, but I will
love
tell
Carl.
you, I wouldn't have a problem with being shot in the eye. I would have a problem with being the one that had to like reinsert.
What if your
the eye.
kid was shot in the eye right in front of you?
Yeah.
No, he,
Then
I would
yeah.
have
Listen.
issues with
He-
that for sure.
he got shot in the face and he didn't die.
Okay, don't tell too much because
Some
these two
people
haven't
watch
seen it.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, you guys are in the medical profession. He got shot in the eye and didn't die.
Because he
We're
was-
living in a world of zombies, dude.
There's not. First of all, there's zombies. I can show you an actual picture from a pathologist. Where did you see this one?
I wanna see
This
it.
is Andrew. Oh my god! I'll
Oh
pull
my
it up. It's the
goodness.
best thing.
He got shot in the eye?
He shot his face off. It
me
was
see.
a,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
murder suicide.
He died?
But he
Yeah.
didn't die because instead of
good.
pointing the
He's
gun
in jail.
back,
Oh,
so he
he-
blew his brains out. He blew his face off, and he's gonna have to have full.
So he
rest,
went, like,
and he's
here.
still gonna
That's not why. He went outside and got some air.
He got
That's
some
what.
air and drink some water.
No, I'm
He drinking water. He's hydrated. So,
way beyond hydration. That's all I'm saying.
but I'm still stuck on Carl. Wait a minute. Is it possible?
Don't tell too much because they
No.
haven't seen it.
Carl's dead already. Listen.
Show about
Oh
zombies.
my
Is
God, I'm
it
gonna
possible
kill
to
him.
get shot in the eye and still walk around with a patch?
If you're
Yes.
a zombie, hell yeah.
And then apocalypse, he didn't go to triage.
Don't tell anymore.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't a
I
zombie.
don't watch the show, but if you're a zombie, you can't go to triage because nobody wants you to eat your brains.
No, he never
Zombies
died.
don't have insurance.
He lasted 2 more seasons with a patch on his eye.
All right, we're not talking
No,
about it anymore.
I want to know
Yes.
the last movie that made you cry.
Yeah.
I really don't cry. It gets
You
stuck.
ain't cry when Coach Chief died.
I did cry when Coach Cheese died. That was sad. Coach Cheese didn't deserve to die. Absolutely.
Who's Coachy?
You don't know.
Cooley High.
Cooley High.
We all really see
What is it?
right now.
Cooley High.
Coney High.
Cooley High.
Cooley High.
It's so hard.
Oh my.
Say goodbye.
It's classy.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, we gotta
watch it
watch.
tonight. I bet.
All right, around the table.
Okay, Cooley High on
Last movie
Netflix.
that made you cry.
It was a Netflix movie about they were getting married and she was diagnosed with cancer, and so she was planning out her fiance's life.
What was that called?
There's so much wrong with that.
Wait a minute. She's still making
Sort of.
plans even if she's not going to be here?
Well, no, she was a lot. Well,
She said, "I'm gonna leave you this calendar."
It's a 2-year plan.
And what he had to get done too. See,
right, because he could never match his socks.
Can you find it?
I was thinking about it for a long time because I'm not a crier.
Face one.
I'm definitely not a crier.
What we got?
She ain't
Let me
crying.
guess.
She's not crying.
I'm really.
Is it a girl movie, like a girly movie?
50 Shades of Grey.
No.
I cried because it was so horrible. Especially
It was
the third
something you
one.
watched with your daughters.
Yes, let me tell you why. Okay, what's the one where the boy got stung? Macaulay Culkin got stung by the bees.
Oh yes, my girl.
Okay.
My girl.
Okay, so
That's
me
it.
and she was probably 7 at that time. We were watching this movie, and that part was very, very sad.
Yes.
And I looked over, and my 7-year-old was bawling, and I was like, "Shit, I guess I better cry too." So I made some tears come out because I didn't want her to feel so alone.
But she's a cold,
Didn't make you cry.
They call me the Vulcan. You
Listen,
remember
you got-
the show V? Oh, that's
Yeah.
what they call me because I have no feelings.
No, I was about to say, you gotta understand. My wife is hard. She don't
Sound
cry.
like it.
Yeah.
She don't cry.
Yeah.
Not so much.
She don't cry.
Okay, so you're next.
The last movie that made me cry was Me Before You, and that was about
Me before who?
Me Before
No.
You.
Oh yeah, that made me
Me
cry
all
too.
day.
At least
Me
you're
all day.
honest.
Me all day, every day.
He's about to cry over the title.
Me all day, absolutely.
Not everybody's petty, all right? And it was about a man that was dying and the woman that was taking care of him.
Was that with
Yeah,
Was that a
It wasn't
Lifetime movie?
It wasn't
No,
a mistake. Somebody said it's a
no.
really good movie.
but it had Khaleesi. Khaleesi was the girl. And
Khaleesi?
it was from
Khalid.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
no.
No. Were they in, like in a house like on the beach?
They did. At the very end, they were. At the very end, he went to the house on the beach.
This is work.
And she wasn't going to go because he said
I think
this was
I saw
going to
that.
She wanted him to do more.
It'd be a lot of
To
I think I
extend
saw
his
that.
life.
No,
and
we don't
she-
edit. You
and
don't do
he-
that.
There weren't guarantees, and he wasn't prepared. He was prepared to die because he had been preparing for
I think
that.
I saw that.
And she was having a hard time letting him go.
Can you actually prepare to die?
So does that freak you,
You
out?
can.
I think that I
so?
don't care for that. I don't.
Well, if you know your time is up.
Well, you have to get your
I think that
affairs
was
in
mean
order.
for
Does that mean spend up all the money?
No, that means get your money for your kids.
Remember the Queen Latifah movie when she thought she was going to die? She was spending up everyone's money.
Yes.
Taking
Set it
trips.
off.
That's my plan. That's set off. Set off. That's a good plan too.
That's a good movie.
But that's my all-time favorite movie.
Set it off.
All right, Miso, what's the last movie that made you cry?
That made me cry.
I think you would cry before she would.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He cried during our vows, and I was like, seriously? Really? Okay.
Don't make
Man,
this
you
weird.
you just putting everything off.
Okay, wait a minute. Was he boo-hooing or was it like a couple tears just coming down?
A couple
No, he was like
this got real shaky.
No, that's
I was,
not
like,
when I
straight
cried
in
during
my
our
voice.
vows.
It was not. He looked
was
like
doing-
Viola Davis when he.
They going in on you tonight.
Snot coming out the nose and
You are lying.
What was that movie? That came out last year. What was that movie?
Lying.
Denzel was in it. What was that movie?
fences.
Fences. They're saying you was fences on your wedding day.
It was fences. Yup. Snot coming all out everywhere. I had to run upstairs and get a roll of toilet paper.
I cried in The Color Purple when Harpo beat.
You so hard. Nah, stop it.
That's when I cried.
So stop.
Because I cried because he shouldn't have stopped beating her. No, I'm just, I'm just joking.
I'll give you some time to think.
No, I got the last one where I got choked up, and it had something to do with my daughters. We watched it. It was a movie about the dog. I can't remember.
A Dog's Life?
Yeah, he
And
kept
it kept
coming back.
Yeah.
and I looked over.
Oh yeah.
Is that when
I
Simi
didn't
called
cry.
me and was like, Mommy's outside and I don't know where Daddy is and Jaden's crying over
Now, that's
the
when I
movie.
made her watch Freddy Krueger.
Nightmare.
I didn't cry. I just had a lump in my throat, though.
Because the dog?
No, because my kids
The dog jumped
were.
over the boy's back?
No.
Enlarge this.
The dog died in the movie.
He died 10
over time,
times.
and then I kept looking at my daughters, and they was crying.
You
I'm
were
like,
thinking about Bruce.
true. Brucey.
Well,
I'm about to
and that's
cry
why
right
you
now.
usually cry. You usually relate something to experiences that you had. You know, you usually it's because of something personal.
Sorry, listen, I'll take the heat for this podcast since Kareem got
I got beat up.
smashed
Yeah.
last
Brooklyn
Brooklyn came out and they was being nice to you. They went hard on me tonight. they was being nice to you.
You think they were being nice to me?
Compared to this, this dude being nice to
This
you.
is life.
Oh, suck
It
it
is
up,
nice.
Buttercup.
It is nice. All right, music. We're gonna go to music before we wrap this up. We're gonna go to music. What are you listening to? Top 3 artists that you listen to?
God.
Music.
Hoping so.
Whoever wants to take it first.
Oh, y'all are gonna be so bored by this. Nat King Cole,
I know it.
Frank Sinatra, and Ella Fitzgerald. I'm sorry, guys. That's it.
No, that
All
was
day, every day.
no. I was.
And I
I
do
was.
have another question after that, but go ahead.
It was a movie I was watching, Blade Runner, and they had a scene where as though they were playing Frank Sinatra and one of his. Frank was pretty hard. He was
Yo,
Frank
the
was
Rat
hard.
Pack. The Rat Pack is no joke.
Hey, Frank is hard.
That's him.
They showing some kind of pictures over there. I know people can't see it, but
Well, I
Sorry.
don't know if Spence should look at it.
That doesn't bother me.
Has
That's a
bodily
space.
fluids.
As long as he's not throwing up, it's not
We were
bothering me.
shown. I
I
was
know, right?
found a picture of the guy that blew his face off.
Oh, Jesus.
That's it right there. Oh,
It's pretty.
nice.
It's pretty cool.
all right, music. What you listen to?
3 artists.
Rapper's Delight. Eric
To
B.
the-
and Rakim
You got that much time for Rapper's Delight?
in my car.
So long.
This song like 10 minutes long.
Eric B. and Rakim.
Which
and
one?
What else is in there?
Which song from everything?
Ain't No Joke.
Okay.
That one. And Joss Stone.
I like John Stone.
Do we want to talk about Josh Stone?
No, we do not.
Why not?
We
No,
don't.
y'all want to put me out there.
Who is
Well,
Josh
Why
Stone?
can't we put y'all out there for that?
Who's Josh Stone?
Joss Stone is a She's white. She's a hippie. Like she wears no shoes. You know who she is?
I know her name.
But if you listen to her and never saw her, you would think she was black.
What do you mean she doesn't wear any shoes?
She's like a hippie.
She's very much a hippie.
Where she live?
But she's very
like England.
No shoes?
Yeah, she's foreign.
Is it cold over there sometimes?
I don't know. I really don't know that. But
no
listen,
shoes?
Google her.
So
Google her and listen to her music.
Josh. What's her name?
Joss Stone.
Jose?
She is.
Joss.
She's.
Wait a minute. Don't
Yeah, we went to a concert.
Why can't we talk about that concert?
Whatever, Miso. Talk about what you want to talk about. This is your.
It's alright. I'm not gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that
I got
to y'all.
kicked out the Joss Stone concert.
And I
Not
had to,
allowed in the Electric Factory anymore.
and I had to go pick. I
Because
had
they
to go
got
pick
my
up.
picture on the wall.
Oh no!
You took your shoes off?
No,
I grabbed some lady by the hair and twisted it and yanked her down.
We've all had that concert. That's okay.
You had a fair one?
It was bad things.
You had a fair one in the electric factory?
Huh?
You had a fair one at the electric factory?
Yeah, I'm not allowed in there anymore. They got my picture hanging up in the office.
Oh, it's 5'10".
Anyway, Tina.
So I am ruled by my children when I listen to music. So we're at like Taylor Swift and Shut Up and Dance and Ride.
I'm not mad at that.
That's what is on my playlist.
Taylor.
What's wrong with Taylor Swift?
Right, the girl
I liked her, but now it's just overkill.
Oh my
Did you
goodness.
see one of those? It was a award show, and her and Selena Gomez were sitting next to each other, and Justin Bieber was up on stage making his thank you.
This was a while ago, right?
A few years ago. And Selena Gomez whispered to Taylor Swift, "He shut the fuck up," but you could read
Kanye?
her lips.
From the Kanye?
Well, is that like when they were breaking up and Taylor Swift?
Yeah, that was all in that time, yeah.
She was just like being her back.
Yeah.
She was being her girl.
Yeah.
I have a question. This is before we get to talk about music again. How is the women had the ability to break into a man's phone?
Wait, say that again.
I don't do that.
Where did that question come from?
Wait,
Because she has my phone. That's why I'm like, how's that work? Man,
What's his
nice.
Josh, no.
Put it on the microphone.
What could make
Doesn't
you
she
that
sound nice?
angry when you're kind of like in that kind of groove? Like,
Yeah.
this is nice.
That's not like
Isn't she nice?
You know the answer.
she's like, I don't. Well, unless it's tequila. Tequila does do that.
Oh, tequila makes me fight.
Tequila. The only
Ask
time.
me
She
so.
writes her own music? You know?
I got thrown out of a bar
writes her own
in Seattle.
songs?
I'm never allowed back into it again because of a tequila. Tequila's not
The
a girl.
empowerment
That
perspective does
whole
not
album
condone
of that song
drinking
that is the best album
and
ever.
tequila.
But you know what I heard? Oh,
And Josh Stone.
still on?
Yes, we still on.
Mick Jagger, like a couple years ago, maybe like 3 years ago. Mick Jagger, is he the one with the lips?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was Mick Jagger because he's like 70 years old.
Yeah.
He made a new band and she's the lead singer.
Oh, wow.
Melanie, top 3 music.
Yeah, I'm really eclectic, and I don't know if I can like.
Come on, what's on your, as soon as you turn on
You
the
went
radio?
to a concert last year. I remember. You
I
Last year?
probably went to 20 concerts last year. Like literally.
Really?
But you're over 20.
So you're a concert whore? Concert
I'm
whore.
gonna tell you that
Oh, wow.
over 20.
She can
That-
go with Margaret.
I thought he was
my
exaggerating.
Kids have been to more,
No, I wasn't.
more concerts with us than with any of their friends. Like we take our kids to everything. I love live music.
Okay, I love live music too. Love it. My husband wants to take me to Jay-Z and Beyonce because I love Jay-Z and Beyonce. Don't know what they've did in the past 10 years because I'm still on like Blueprint.
Right on.
Yeah.
Let's go back to
They're a little different,
let's go
but-
back to the Jay-Z concert I just came from because the Kareem know about this, and I said,
We were doing a podcast. You was
I'm
like,
going to
I'm out.
ask my wife if she wants to go to the Jay-Z concert, and she was like, "I'll go if you want me to go," and I was like, "I know what kind of night this is going to be. I'm going to go by myself."
Yeah.
So I went to the Jay-Z concert by myself. I was like, "Am I going to be a creep? Like I'm 40 years old in here by myself?" But then when I got there, I had a whole row of people that was there by themselves. So I was like, I'm good then.
Because
So
the wives got sins.
no, it was all kinds of people up in it.
Okay, so we're going to this concert on my birthday in July, and I have to start right now gearing
Preparing
myself
herself.
Yeah.
up because I'm already having
You
anxiety about
got to screw face up. My wife don't like people. Let's just put that out there. She don't like people.
That's not I'm thinking if you guys are going to the after party. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
So is that what you don't
Yeah.
like? You don't like crowds? Is that your?
No, she don't like people.
No, I don't like people.
But you don't have to talk to anybody else.
And it's not that. Just standing next to me, like I'm like ill.
Yeah, that's hard in a concert. You definitely got to stand there. But there's usually a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have been known to go to ShopRite and come home too. I'll come home and Lisa will be like, "Where's the groceries?" And I'm like, "I just had to leave the cart. Like they just got on my nerves."
Just
Like,
left the
I
cart
love it.
in the supermarket.
I'm done. I'm done.
Full of groceries. Cart just left in the
I've wanted to
supermarket.
do that so many times.
Look at your
Done.
face.
And you should. Feels good, but then you have to go back the next day.
But then you're still going back.
No, then I go back at 6 o'clock in the morning the next day when nobody's there.
Yes.
But yeah, I can't.
My husband used to go at like 10 o'clock at night because he'd be like, "There's nobody in there.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to close.
Let
You
somebody
get all
clip my
stuff
heels with a
in
cart.
there."
It's over.
Oh yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
But you can't go to the deli. I like being
Or
at
the seafood counter.
yeah. All that place is closed.
Well, now they pre-cut all the meat.
Yeah, so you
don't want that.
just
You
go
don't
grab
want
it.
that.
I mean, I don't get it. I'm just saying.
You can feed your kids that, but you don't.
You don't want to actually eat that now.
Yeah, people pick it up and put it back. They pick it up.
Hey,
They
it's true.
they look inside and see what's in there.
Eat this for lunch, but no,
Yeah.
not.
Sometimes they take a couple. I watch people. Sometimes they take a couple slices off the top and put it back.
No, they don't do that.
Yes.
That's why they took the pickle
Yes.
barrels out.
Oh yeah. Those are germy.
Those are German.
The pickle barrel.
Pickle barrel?
Because the theme was germs. Getting back to that.
Yeah,
Those
we go
are-
back.
So don't eat the
Speaking of
kosher pickle.
I mean, I
supermarkets,
still
let me tell
do,
you my
but-
biggest germ fear.
Oh Jesus.
You don't touch a pen. When you have to sign in somewhere, I'm like, here, sign
When
in.
I go to the doctor's office or anywhere I know I got to sign in, I have my pen in my pocket ready to go. My pen. And it's when I go to the supermarket, like, you know, people put carts back in the thing. If I see who had the cart first,
So
I won't take it.
embarrassing. Wait
Like,
a
people
minute.
will come to the car and be like, "Oh, you want this? You want this cart? No, thanks."
So embarrassing.
You have a problem.
First of all,
We need to go get
it
some
was
air.
a really like.
Doorknobs.
Oh my God. Joyce does
Wait a
that.
minute.
Did you ever see her? She does it with her
Okay,
girlfriend.
Nikki's single.
She will not
It
touch
was a good-looking dude. Like he was packing his car up from Sam's. He was a good-looking dude. I was like, I
You
saw.
know your husband's
I
right there.
peeped. No ring on.
I told
He
you the
knows that
story
there are other
before. I
people
already told
in the
you.
world.
So he came around, you know, and me and my sister going to the store. He was like, "You want our cart?" She was like, "No." And I was like,
I
"Dude,
saw
you're
who
single.
had it.
He's single. What?"
I saw who
But
had
he
it. I
wasn't
can't touch
disgusting.
it. But I saw who had the
Oh,
cart.
so it doesn't matter who has it.
It don't matter.
It's just that you know who.
if I
I thought
know
they were,
who
like,
had it before me.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
When I pick something off
would
the
you
shelf,
touch him?
But not his cart.
I will touch him, but I won't touch his cart.
I'm just saying.
That's a contradiction. That's a contradiction.
Like if I get something off the shelf, never take the first one. Always take the third or the fourth one back. Ever take the first one.
What if it's the last one on
A
the
long
shelf?
time to go shopping.
What?
What if it's the last one on the shelf?
Then you don't buy it.
It's back to the psychology.
So,
I don't
but
buy
then you
it.
go right back to the psychology.
I
There
see.
we
All
are.
right. So wait a minute.
So
Go to
germs.
another store.
Wait. So you mean to tell me? No, I'm going in. So you mean to tell
You
me
don't have an adage. She said
Come
she
on.
wasn't petty.
Come on.
this is really petty? All right, so you're telling me that your significant other wants this particular gift and there's one left on the shelf. He doesn't get it because it's the last one on the shelf.
If it's for him, he can have it, but I don't want it.
But you still have to touch it.
Then that's fine, but I'm not going to use it.
She's not.
If it's for me, no.
Oh, only if it's for you.
Yeah.
Like that's like the lunch meat with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Listen, I'm enjoying it because I'm surrounded
Exactly.
around a whole bunch of pettiness. I'm enjoying it.
All day.
The kind of environment that I like. Yes.
He can have it all he wants. I'm not going to use it.
Oh, wow.
He can get that shopping cart too. I won't touch it.
Listen, we're gonna wrap this podcast so we can keep the conversation
He's going to do part 2.
We're gonna do a part 2 at some point. I'm running out of storage here, so we gotta wrap this thing up. So we're gonna do some last words around just about, I guess, germs and the stuff that we talked about.
Water.
Lots of
And your feelings about the podcast, or some advice for parents on how to keep their kids, teach them, to stay away from germs and healthy and all that stuff. So,
water.
besides water and air,
Fresh air.
and washing your hands, I know there's a lot of germs in schools and things, and we send our kids to school all the time. Like, what can parents do to help with just even relationship with the nurse and things of that nature?
Don't coddle your children. When your kid calls you from the nurse's office, don't run and get them, even though it's the 87th time they've called you because they have a stomach ache.
Because sometimes you gotta poop.
Sometimes you have to poop.
Yeah.
And if you drink some water, that always helps.
Water.
But you can't always have mommy pick you up. Mom can't always save you, or dad can't always save you. So the kids need to learn how to work through their.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
That's the name of the podcast.
So there it is right there. Mrs. Spence, any last words before we get out of here?
Embrace your pettiness.
Running
It's really okay.
For people that are listening to us, don't forget you can catch us on iTunes. We are on theempowermentperspective.com. We're on Podbean. We are on YouTube. The video's coming. I promise. I keep saying that it's coming. We are also on. I'm trying to work out Snapchat. I'm a little old right now. I don't know what's going on with Snapchat. It is confusing. Twitter, we're on there. The Empowerment Perspective podcast and the Empowerment Perspective group. Make sure you tune in for us. Like I said before, I keep saying it, we're hitting the road. So next couple of podcasts is probably going to be coming from Syracuse and Pittsburgh. We're hitting up Chicago and Detroit coming up. So make sure you listen to that. The documentary will be coming out probably at the end of the last year, at the end of 2018, going into 2019. That's going to be coming out. The ad. It's 2019. That's crazy, right? So make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to do some work with Princess Inc. Shout out to them. Make sure you check their website out and all the stuff that they got going on out there too. Until next time, stay empowered.